Hello.
Hello, guys. Today is a glorious day because we finally heard the official announcement of the Nintendo Switch. It is coming April, I believe. April
Bro, are
20th.
you not gonna do the introduction like normal, like a normal
I, I,
podcast episode? Or
I
is this
can't I,
like
I can't do an announcement because my excitement is just like boiling over. I just want to
I
let you.
just feel like we should be professional and new things
All
are
right.
gonna be announced all the time. We're so when you're just real giddy, you just forget the introduction. Just
Okay.
go straight into it, right? Just
All right, guys. So I'm gonna keep it as a surprise. All
no,
right.
just do
First,
it. I'm
first
sorry I
thing,
ruined
let's keep
your
it as a
your
surprise.
uh your energy. Go ahead.
This is the 8BG and we are the 8 generation. I'm Steve with my co-host.
Oh, Sterling.
All right, and we're the 8 generation. If you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, discuss. Let's talk about it, right? And we have a lot to talk about today because we are talking about the Nintendo Switch 2 announcement.
Wait, so are we gonna talk about like what we've been playing or anything? I know it's only been a few days.
Mhm. Honestly, what I've been playing, I've just been playing a lot of Super Mario Wonder, and
Okay.
that is a great game.
It
Like
is
I
also
feel
fully backwards compatible
it is fully backwards compatible with the
with the
Nintendo
Switch 2.
Switch 2.
Shocking.
But yeah, Super Mario Wonder is so good. It's such a great game. I think have you played it?
No.
I think you would like it. I think
I'm I,
if you got bored with the new Super Mario formula, I think this one, even though it's a 2D platformer, it switched things up in a way where it feels refreshing. It doesn't feel like the kind of the from that same cloth.
I am gonna have a decent paycheck coming up, so I might invest in it. I also haven't finished Mario Odyssey, but I was recently playing it and it's
Mhm.
still very good.
Oh, it's
So
a
I'm
classic.
gonna finish that and then I'll definitely pick up Wonder and give it a shot.
Mhm. That's great. Yeah, Super Mario Wonder is. Yeah,
Looks good. I mean,
yeah, it's really good. Like when I was playing, I was like, all right, you can play. It's probably just a good 2D Mario game, but it's really good. Like it
hmm.
really changes up the formula, and it's wonderful. Oh, no pun intended.
Oh God.
And aside from that, what else have I been playing? I
That's
recently
it.
had a Sega Genesis kick, and I was playing the Golden Axe games.
Oh, wait. Whoa. One of my favorite series
Hmm.
ever for some reason is definitely Golden Axe.
So I
At
beat
least
Golden
at least
Axe.
the first two games and Revenge of Death Hatter. But go ahead.
Yeah, the first two games are pretty good. I mean, the first one is just the best one.
Classic.
Classic.
It's
That can't be
it's
beaten.
so simple, but it's so like I
Mhm.
just love it. I can someone throws it on, it's like I gotta see if I can beat it. And sometimes I can beat it and sometimes I can't.
I always think of Golden Axe as like the medieval Streets of Rage counterpart. Because it's just like it's very similar in a way, like in terms of like the gameplay, but the music is off the chain for both of them. Both have memorable music tracks. And I played through Golden Axe 1 again, as
Hmm.
well as Golden Axe 2. I think I beat that one as well.
Okay.
Golden Axe 2 is good. I like that it's a little faster and sharper, but it just doesn't hit like
It's not as memorable.
not as memorable. The music is not
Um
as good. Uh,
Although the music for the first stage is quite good
yeah,
in
it's probably
Golden
maybe
Axe 2.
maybe the only one, but I didn't, it
It's
didn't stick
really
with me.
good.
Like Golden Axe 1 first stage music, you throw that on, that is that's a bop right there.
I'm a boss music guy. I like the music, and I'm so glad it's on Apple Tunes. You can get all the Golden Axe music. Anyway, so
Mhm.
I like the boss music and the first Golden Axe, all of it, and including you were playing the Sega Genesis version, so not the arcade version. I have
Yeah.
a weird,
Mhm.
I don't know, I don't want to call this a knowledge check about the music in both the arcade and Genesis version. They're similar, except for one reason in the arcade, some parts of the songs are faster intentionally, and then in the Genesis version, they're slower. And then
Mhm.
some parts, it's really weird, but I've listened to it so much that I'm like, oh, it's kind of cool. It makes
Mhm.
both versions very different and very interesting. Anyway,
I'll
yeah,
check it out.
Golden Axe, amazing.
Mhm.
Have you played Revenge of Death Hatter?
No, I don't think I have.
Oh my God, that is the best Golden Axe game, by the way.
Is it as
Like
arcade?
it's art. It never got home released. It's an
Okay.
arcade, but
Mhm.
go emulate it. Go look at videos. It is. It is literally it will blow your mind right now. I'm like saying one of
Let's
these
see
days,
the
like
E word.
it will what? What's the E word? I don't even know. Just I don't even want to think about what the E word is. But Golden Axe Revenge of Death Adder, it's 4 players,
Mhm.
it's complete action, it's just the next step. It's like, oh, it's amazing. I mean, even like the first stage, the minute you start playing, you'll be like, oh, this is it. This is
I'm
oh
trying to check it out.
yeah. Just even like if you get a chance, just look at a video of
Mhm.
just it. You'll be like, how did I not? Have you even seen it?
I probably came across it like reading it,
Oh
but I
my
don't think I've
God.
ever like I didn't even remember there was an arcade of
You're missing.
Golden Axe.
It's I mean it's the real Golden Axe too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like Sega Genesis one was like they made it because the Genesis needed a sequel, but the real Golden Axe 2 is Revenge of Death
Went to that
Adder. So
fatter. Okay,
yeah,
I gotta play that one.
yeah. So in fact, when we're done with this podcast, I want you to just look at a video, just the
Okay.
first stage, and just tell me like,
I'm surprised
you
they don't
know.
have it on Steam or anything, right?
No, the only way you could play it is there's another arcade mini system that only
Mm-hmm.
released in Japan that has it, but you can import it. That's the only way to get it kind of on home console other than emulation.
All right, then we got a mission then.
Yeah, I'm
We're going to,
saying,
we're going to Japan. All right,
oh, no,
ABG
we'll just
Japan, guys.
emulate it. Dude, no,
All
not
right.
emulate. Emulate some. Oh, that's the bad E word. Oh, no,
Oh.
I thought we have to you can just import that arcade thing. It's like $100.
Yeah.
Do that.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you got plans coming up. You probably can't afford it. Okay. Go ahead. All right. So Golden Axe, cool.
All right. Golden Axe, and that's pretty much about it. Mhm.
All right. Um, I haven't been playing much since last time, except more Final Fantasy 16.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm not done with it. I'm thinking I'm about 60%, 70. I'm like close, kind of. You can tell it's kind of winding down. Um, I am floored by the game. It's not often that I play a game
Mhm.
that brings out so much raw emotion on just how cool something is. I was literally a tearing up playing and watching what was going on in the game. Um, so much so that I had to go watch other YouTubers play a particular part to see,
Mhm.
and they're all the same way. And it's super spoilery, so I'm not going to talk about what happens, but
Mhm.
like, and it's not like something like major in terms of like a death of a character or something. I'm not even, but it's a spectacle and a video game spectacle that you rarely get to see, or I don't know, it's done so well.
Mhm.
I'm I like right now it is by far one of my favorite Final Fantasies, and it's like it's kind of crazy to say that because I'm a big Final Fantasy person. I haven't played the 7 remake, which I'm gonna get to after this,
Mhm.
but from 1 to 16, playing them all except for like 11 and 14 because those are online. But
Mhm.
I'm stunned by how much I'm enjoying it and liking the story. Like I said before, it has a little bit of issues like every game does, but I am like really like right now it's like I'm 9.5 out of 10 rating it. Like it's that good.
5 out of
It's
10. Wow.
yeah, it's really extraordinarily. I recommend anybody play, even if you're new to Final Fantasy.
Mhm.
It's a great place to start because it's action game, so
Mhm.
and it's not like as good as a Devil May Cry or whatever in
Mhm.
terms of it, but story wise, phenomenal. In fact, it was so much of an emotional thing. I had to take a break
Wow.
just because I don't, oh, it's so good. Anyway, yeah, so that's all I've been playing. Um, Other than a Pac-Man game on my iPhone, which has become addicting. And I told you about VR. I had the VR. I started playing more with that.
Mhm.
Um,
Oh yeah. Mhm.
it's the next gen, but not that's not what we're here to talk about today. So let's get into our nitty gritty.
The nitty-gritty, the reason why we're here is because
Xbox is multi-platform. Halo is
yes.
going to PlayStation.
So you
That's
know
why
that
we're here.
so Nintendo's getting the Xbox app coming soon. So you can just play Halo on the Switch. Nah.
Hey, that's
But
what we're here for.
yeah, spreading rumors, right? Oh, it's not rumors,
No,
actually.
it's happening,
It's
right? Isn't
gonna
that
happen. Yeah,
happening?
yeah. That's coming. Yeah, that's true. And it's gonna happen eventually. We'll have a discussion about that because I find that very fascinating. And
Hmm.
you know, I have thoughts about that. But today, Switch 2 announced. This morning, they just gave a quick trailer. I'll put it up on the screen at some point. And it's what you expect. If someone said what a Switch 2 would look like, I think it's pretty expected. The only difference is that from the Switch is that number one, it's bigger. I don't know if it's going to be the same size as the OLED. I didn't really look at the specs. I don't know. Have you looked at that?
No,
Yeah,
but
so
it's gonna be bigger.
it's
I
gonna
don't
be
think it's
bigger.
gonna be because the
Better not
controllers
be
are
bigger.
bigger. The
Thank
controllers are
God, because
marginally bigger.
yeah,
Everything's
because
marginally
it
bigger.
was gonna be so small. Like, I'm so glad it's gonna be bigger. It looks very sleek. It looks very adult-like almost. Like it's catering to like a older fan base with the colors. I'm sure they're gonna have different colors, of course, but I just find it interesting. The one thing I do find interesting too is that it looks like the bezels inside, I guess the grooves that's on the side of the system is gonna
Hmm.
be permanently that color. I don't know if it's gonna be like that for each system or if it lights up. I don't think it lights up. It doesn't seem like it. But
Okay.
I just find that interesting. You know,
Um, you got any other
Any
thoughts?
thoughts on that? No, it looks pretty standard. I'm excited. I think the only thing that they showed was they showed a small clip of a Mario Kart game potentially being on the system.
Hmm.
I think rumor had it they were gonna that was gonna be one of the first launch games for the Switch 2 was Mario Kart, which we need one because we haven't had a Mario Kart in almost 10 years.
Yeah, whenever
Yeah,
eight
it came
came
out.
out.
Yeah,
Although to be fair, all those updates, I mean, the DLC
yeah,
for Mario
it's
Kart
massive.
8 is extensive. It's like 64 tracks or something. Granted, not all of them are like great tracks. They're like a lot of them are ripped from the Mario Kart Tour,
Mhm.
the phone game, but
Yeah,
still, it's like
that's a
a
lot of
whole.
tracks.
There's a lot of tracks. There's over
I
100
hope
tracks in that game.
Nintendo tries to release like maybe a physical copy of everything that's in it because it would be a shame for that to kind of go away, in some kind of
It's
way.
Nintendo. It's not happening.
Yeah,
So,
probably not. You're probably
and it's
right.
not going away because I mean, it is. It is going to be digitally probably at some point not
Mhm.
accessible, but I mean, as long as Switch 2 is backwards compatible, that's still kind of a thing at
That's
least.
true. But well, that's true. And I think we had a discussion a couple of years ago about what's the next step for the Switch for Nintendo with the Switch because the Switch was just a juggernaut for Nintendo, probably one of their most successful consoles, and you know I think they learned a lesson. Well, I hope they learned a lesson from the Wii U, but I think they did because they call it Switch 2, straightforward. I personally think they should have called it the Super Switch. Like this kind
Boo! Boo! Get off the stage.
of Super Switch would be perfect. Super Nintendo,
That would
Super Nintendo.
be as dumb as the Wii U. I'm glad they didn't do that
Why?
because it's just dumb. It doesn't the Super Switch like that's not that to me doesn't and change it enough. You know how like it's like calling something the Pro. You know what I mean? To me it just doesn't
I mean,
differentiate
if
enough.
you have a Pro, that means there's something to it, right? Like it has a meaning. So if you call it Super Switch,
It's this Nintendo's way of calling something a pro to me. That's what that sounds like.
think so? I think
Doesn't
it's a
sound.
Pro. Oh, I
It
think the
doesn't
Pro is just
sound
a.
like it's the next. It doesn't sound like it's necessarily the next thing. I know what you mean like Nintendo and Super Nintendo. I get it, but it,
I mean,
I
this
don't
is the
think.
next thing. I mean, this is Nintendo's next thing. I think the Switch is going to be their what they're going to be riding on for the next couple of years, next
Oh,
10.
you think?
Well, yeah, because I mean, think about it. You said
No
this.
kidding. Their newest console that they announced is the next thing they're going to be riding with.
Yeah. You said
Really?
you said didn't you say that it was like a Pro, like it's not a significant
No,
upgrade?
no. I'm saying your naming convention of calling it a Super Switch sounds like a
Oh,
pro
it's
or
a Pro.
something.
Oh,
Like
okay.
doesn't sound like to me the next generation of console, and that's what I was saying.
Okay. Okay.
Not I wasn't talking about their thing. I have a lot to say about that actually too, in
Mhm.
my opinion. Um, I don't know. Should I go? Should I go? Is it my turn?
No, actually, I want to say one more thing. No, I'm joking. Go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, I was kind of funny because you wanted to do this podcast yesterday,
hmm
and so we came with our ideas and all sorts of stuff based on leaks. Now that we don't really have to speculate, we can kind of just see exactly what it is.
hmm
I'm actually a little not shocked,
hmm
but kind of I don't know, if I'm concerned or something. There's a little bit of concern because ever since the GameCube
Hmm.
wasn't a success, Nintendo has gone a different route of changing up everything and kind of specifically not trying to just make a more powerful system. And so they went from the Wii, they went from GameCube to the Wii, which was basically a GameCube with a little bit better
Yeah, pretty much
GameCube.
with a umph.
Then they went from the Wii to the Wii U, which was a little bit more, but it did something. It had that, whatever, which you could say after the Wii U, the Switch was like kind of a better idea of what the Wii U should have been. It was like a better, have the game playing like because they kind of try to market the Wii U as something you could play, away from the TV at times using the big controller, even though that never
Mhm.
really worked that way well.
Yeah.
And the Switch kind of was like a better realized version of that.
Mhm.
And but also the Switch had a lot of creativities with the Joy Cons and the things coming off of it. And then it could be portable. Then it could attach to your TV. And it was like, you
Have more
know,
controls.
nothing else did that, right?
Mhm.
So when they announced Switch 2, I mean, I'm sure it'll be something cooler maybe to it. I'm not
Mhm.
really that sure, but like I look at it and I'm saying, all right, it's literally I'm thinking nothing new is gonna really blow my mind about this.
Mhm.
It's gonna be it's gonna be successful, I think. It's gonna be exactly what most people want, where it's a newer Switch. Will it the question is will it sell as well as the Switch 2? I mean the first Switch. And I don't know because you have to convince a lot of people to get the Switch 2 if they have a Switch 1.
Mhm.
Before a lot of people didn't have a Wii U or whatever. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So the Switch was a whole new thing. And so a lot of people look at it saying, you know, because I'm not saying that people that have Switch aren't serious gamers, but it is a thing you have to upsell to people at sometimes. And I could see some people.
Wait, so what do you mean? What do you mean upsell? Like,
I don't know if like I know I'll get a Switch too. I know you'll get a Switch too. I know a lot of people. It's not going to be the disaster of the Wii U, but I
mhm.
don't know if it's going to be the same astronomical success as the original Switch because similar to like all Nintendo systems,
It was
Nintendo was
outlier.
super good. Super
Mhm.
Nintendo was better, but didn't sell as well. Then
Mhm.
the next system was better in terms of graphics, or what didn't sell as well and kept going. So I'm thinking Nintendo played it ultra safe,
Oh yeah.
apparently, the way I look at it, right? Which is
Yeah.
something that they haven't done in
Mhm.
a very long time. They were taking risk all over the place. Even like you go from the DS was a risk, two screen
Mhm.
handheld, the 3DS, maybe not as much of a risk, but still kind of risky with the
Yeah.
whole 3D thing. And then the Switch, so now this is the first time in years where they've been really conservative.
Mhm.
Um, so I wonder like it's so not it didn't kill my hype because I wasn't like, really expecting nothing, but now it's like okay, well I know it's gonna come. New Mario Kart, new Mario game, new
Mhm.
this, and everything else is gonna be just newer versions of what we just been playing,
Yeah.
but not like a new way to experience them. And I'm not saying like Mario Odyssey was a new experience from other, but it was the idea of having that quality Nintendo game on the go
Mhm.
was a whole new kind of thing. We're already used to that. So now it's just going to be better
Mhm.
of the same.
So,
So
yeah. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. I'm kind of
I was gonna say that I think for the Switch 2, with all seriousness, I think Nintendo was like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think they're trying not to rock the boat too much right now because again, I think they have a good thing with the Switch. And I think they also want to port over all the Switch, the systems. Because I think one of the issues they had with like the Wii U, and just going to the Switch is that nothing was compatible. Like, they have their separate stores,
from the Wii U to the
Wii
Switch.
U
Yeah,
to a Switch. Even from the Wii to the even from the Wii to the Wii U, their stores weren't compatible. The DS was compatible, 3DS was
yeah,
compatible.
but at least on the, I mean, it wasn't as easy as this will probably be, but at least on
Yeah,
the Wii U, you
you
could
could
put
transfer
your
them. Yeah,
entire Wii stuff on there,
that's true.
and
Mhm.
it was backwards
Oh yeah,
compatible with the
actually you could
Wii.
because you had to switch your Wii
Yeah,
system.
you could put your yeah.
You could do that
So
technically. So you could do that. But I think
yeah,
especially for the Wii U to the Switch, a lot of it wasn't backwards compatible. So it's like you're spending so much money on these things that
they
it's like
re-released almost everything. They resold everything.
Exactly. And I think they're trying to avoid that because I think now
But to
consumers are a
be
little bit more savvy because now you don't want to be investing so much into the system for all these years and then now some new system comes out, you gotta start from square one. And I
I
think that was
mean,
something that was a concern I also had too during the Xbox 360 era because I was thinking like not Xbox, yes, something around the Xbox 360 era. I was always thinking like, what if you invest so much in like, for example, Guitar Hero music, all these things, and then after that you can't transfer none of this stuff over. So it's almost like you lose everything that you've paid for. And even though they're technically licenses, I think more people understand that nowadays. It wasn't so clear back then. What you were
to
saying?
be to be fair, I would say with the Wii U to the Switch, like in their mind, they were like, nobody really bought the Wii U, so either a
Mhm.
lot of these good games over here, let's just port them over now that people can buy them.
Right.
Thinking about that though, what I hope they do, one of the hopes I have for the Switch 2, is with the backwards compatibility. Um, I've seen emulators because it's crazy that people are emulating Switch games already, but um, th I've seen emulators on Switch run Zelda Breath of the Wild at 4K at
Wow.
60 frames per second, and it looks gorgeous.
Mhm.
I don't know if this will be a 4K machine.
That has to be
Probably
4K at this point.
should be at this point
4K, yeah,
because
that's
4K
standard.
is like kind of almost becoming a standard.
Yeah.
But if it is, it should be able to go back to these other games and get rid of some of the technical
Hiccups.
hiccups that might have happened in some of the games.
Mhm.
Because now it's like what's kind of weird is like with this, you should be able to play Resident Evil 8 now natively.
Yeah. Well, I
You
have
know
that.
how to you had to do the online version of
Oh
some of
yeah,
these
yeah.
games.
A lot of Switch games had that where you have to download, like you have to play like, almost
Yeah,
online only, right? Like you
yeah,
couldn't
because you
play
had to stream the game. They
the
weren't
game.
playing natively from because the Switch obviously just couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
So now that obviously won't be a case. This is kind of good because now it just makes a lot of developers know the Switch is going to make oodles of money, so they're going
Mhm.
to they make sure their games are runnable on there.
And then
Um,
I heard that the rumor is that the Switch 2 is going to be as powerful as the PS4. So a lot of those kind of games from that era, may be coming onto the Switch, so they can just easily just dump a lot of older content, repackage it, and
I would hope it's a little bit more powerful than the PS4. I know the idea is portable and stuff, but like, I guess so. I mean, like,
that makes sense.
I have a
Yeah.
Steam Deck, and a Steam Deck is, I would say, about on par with a PS4.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know. Not that Nintendo's always been about power, but and plus, it's definitely probably not as bulky as a Steam Deck. Steam Deck's
Hmm.
pretty hefty. Um, I just hope that they kind of know, I don't know, what they're I think in design, Nintendo always knows what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
When they're designing their things. Um,
I mean,
and I
let's
just
talk
hope,
about it. Hmm.
well, like one of the things I used to complain about, and we have video of
Yes.
me is complaining about the size of
Yes.
the controllers. They're too small for
Exactly.
my giant hands. I don't know now with these even being slightly larger, it probably makes a whole lot of a difference for me. It
Hmm.
probably, it might make me be like, okay, like I can finally do this. I can finally really feel the portable appeal and playing with a friend now that the size is a little bigger. Um, so that's probably one of the better things for me. Like my overall thing is like we didn't even talk about the game that they showcased,
Oh yeah.
obviously, which
Well,
is
before we talk about the game, I wanted to talk about maybe some of the, let's just kind of like anything that we wish, like anything that you're looking forward to, because I know one of the most, because the Switch 2 is gonna have competition, because when the Switch first came out, it was kind of like in a class of its own, one of a kind. But now, as you mentioned, you have the Steam Deck. There's also a rumor that Microsoft may create something similar to a Steam Deck. So now you're gonna have some competition. So that's gonna, kind of
that's
play
a
its
good
own.
point. I think when the Switch came out, Nintendo was in its own world in
Hmm.
terms of what they were providing.
Yeah.
And now I think, especially the way technology goes, they are no longer gonna be the only one. Like the the Switch is no longer gonna be in a class of its own to me.
Hmm.
The only class of its own it has is Nintendo license.
That's the
That's the
Nintendo license. Yeah,
literal
that's
um
the superpower right now.
because I mean the Steam Deck, while not as uh I would say friendly,
Hmm.
user friendly as the Switch, it is basically a Switch. You can
Hmm.
take it. You can't do the little controller thing. That's the cool thing you can't do. But I don't
Hmm.
often honestly take off the controller and play my Switch on a small screen. And
Yeah.
I don't do that. If I'm with it, I'm gonna have it uh with the controllers attached, and I'm gonna play it like that. But I do dock it and sometimes play. The Steam Deck, you can dock it as well and play. Steam Deck has way, 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 way more games because of the Steam library has, and it's compatible with a whole shitload of games.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
now the mini PC, portable PC things are big now. All
Mhm.
these companies are making it, and Steam just released their operating system on other platforms.
Mhm.
So before, when you were playing these mini consoles, you had to
Mhm.
go through Windows to kind of, and then that, and it was kind of a headache. It
Mhm.
wasn't very smooth. Steam has the operating system thing on tap. They know how to make a good. So now that you can get those on all these other systems, it's kind of crazy. It's as if they're super compatible, like these other systems are expensive. Granted, they're like some of them are 800,
But still,
$900,000,
as time goes
but
on.
they are powerful PCs. But now they're powerful portable PCs. I'm talking these things are already PS better than PS4s. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? They're like
Mhm.
already at that level. So Nintendo does. I'm not going to even say
But
that
but here's
Nintendo
the
has a
here's,
lot of
here's the one thing
competition
that
though.
here's the one caveat though, right? And this goes for all portable systems, all portable systems. The battery life.
Yeah, yeah.
That's going to be like the crux of how to the enjoyment of the system. And of course, nowadays all games have different tiers. You have the AAA games like the Breath of the Wild that may take, from with using the Switch as an example, the Breath of the Wild that takes more battery life because it
Depends
just
on the
depends on the
graphical
game.
intensity of the games, the
Exactly. So,
3D.
but I think the
Uh,
Switch was running anywhere between 6 to 12 hours, depending on the game that you're playing.
I had more of a 4 to 8 hours kind of
48
thing
hours. Okay,
experience with it.
here's some more, yeah.
Especially, I played a lot of Zelda on the
Hmm.
go. Um, and I always got the thing too. I don't know if this applies to other people, but to me, I'm never playing a game until it turns off
Hmm.
because that gives me an anxiety.
Hmm.
Like, oh my God. So once I see the battery starting to get pretty low, I kind
Hmm.
of will save it, you know, and then wait till I can plug it in again.
Yeah.
I mean, these days there are battery packs and stuff like that too.
Oh,
I have a
yeah.
battery
Yeah.
pack that could probably recharge a Switch maybe 5 or 6 times.
Hmm.
So I mean,
So it's probably
it's a
not
thing,
as
but I feel
not
like
as
if you know you're going on a long time and you're not going to plug in and you really want to play, you should just have one of these
that's true.
battery
Yeah, yeah,
things.
that.
I just feel like at this point that's a thing. It's they literally make these things to
Hmm.
to to do that. I can charge my laptop, my phone, and like with this one battery off of one charge of it. It has that much juice in it.
And
Plus $100, but whatever.
one thing I also hope Nintendo does as well, another accessory that I hope they look into is creating a dock, not for a TV, but kind of similar to a Nitro deck. I think the Nitro deck was a great idea. You know what Nitro deck is?
I'm unfamiliar.
Do you mind if you give me 2 minutes and I can show you?
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess yeah. So if Nintendo does something like this, I mean, this is pretty much, you know, its own thing, but I think it's like a great, for people with bigger hands, gets rid of the Joy-Con issue and feels pretty sturdy in your hand. I think this is something that all adults
They're
will use.
not gonna. I mean, Nintendo themselves is not gonna make that. There will be another company that will make that. I almost can guarantee Nintendo ain't gonna make something like that.
Really?
Yeah, because they didn't
Yeah.
make it for the first one. I don't see why. Like,
Because I don't think they thought about it. I think they just thought that the way their system was, it was perfect.
you don't think that, okay, you don't think they thought about it? And okay, your point right there to me makes sense too. Like you just said, they make their thing and they thought it was perfect. I think that's how they're gonna
Yeah,
look
they're like,
at it.
this is great. Why would I to create something else,
Yeah, they
I
not
think
they
they have to
said
go ahead.
yeah, they're like it'd be kind of crazy to say for them to say, oh, just in case our design isn't good for you, here's a whole nother design that we're gonna charge
I
you
mean that but
for.
that's pretty much what they did. They give you different ways of playing. I mean, they give you a Switch Pro controller. They have
Right, right. But to me, each serves a specific purpose. I mean,
mhm.
the thing you're talking about is, I don't want to say it's niche, but it seems a little niche in terms of, I get it. It's like, I just feel like that's one of the things they'll let every other company handle. Like, I don't see them putting their own, because now this, I'm sure it runs already in creation. Like Nitro Deck already probably got their own.
They probably have
Oh,
a
Switch
deal.
2, we're already on it.
Okay,
It's
that's probably
like,
true. They probably have their own deal with
yeah,
Nintendo.
I don't feel like Nintendo's gonna necessarily put their time and money into that. I feel like they put all their time and money making the things that they are gonna that we already know are coming. Dude.
Mhm.
Well, is
Well,
that's a question. Are they gonna make another Switch Pro controller? Do they need to? I don't think so. This one
I think
should
they will.
work. I mean,
It
they
should
will.
work
But
technically, but they will.
if this
That's
one
what.
doesn't work, then that's insane. Because I get it. This is not, we're not in the level where it's a GameCube controller going
Yeah.
into like a Wii. I get that. But this, I mean,
It's gonna. I think.
even the Wii U, uh, the backwards compatibility has been kind of weird with the Switch, but it's been pretty good at taking different controller
But yeah,
inputs.
I
So
would
I don't
imagine
see
so.
why a Switch, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't know much about the Switch too, but
I mean,
if
I guess in
if
some
this
ways it would have to
$70
become.
controller don't work,
Yeah, you're right. Because I think in some ways, being that it's Bluetooth and then it's also Switch 2 compatible, it would have to work naturally, right?
yeah, and it's
Even-
yeah, yeah, exactly. To
That'll be
me,
they would have to work harder to block it.
or they'd have to be insane to
Mhm.
charge. People are gonna be really pissed about that. Not that it really matters because it's just like you're just caught anyway. But to me, it's like it's kind of like I don't know at this point. It
Yeah, I see. No,
it's
they have to do that. I mean, I think they're gonna play a little bit looser this time around because I think again they want people to ease into this transfer. Like, listen, get a Switch 2. It's easy. Everything will just port over. You'll have all your library, your games, all the stuff you've invested for the last 7, 8 years. So it's gonna be, just come over to the Switch 2. It's gonna be a big.
well, uh, thinking about it too. It's it's like at this point though, they gotta have some slamming games
Yeah.
because
hmm That's the games. Yeah, and
it's at the end of the day, like before, I think the Switch was the idea itself was okay enough to sell it.
mhm.
Now the idea to me is not enough of
They
it
also had games
being.
coming on the way. Like I know Switch 2 didn't launch with Smash Brothers, but I think that was one of the biggest things on the horizon. Like I think they.
That's a funny thing to say because uh, I mean Sakurai. I mean, I'm sure they'll throw a lot of money at him, maybe, but they were like, he said Ultimate was his last.
I,
He's done
I,
developing games.
I think Ultimate might be Mario Kart aided, meaning that they might just port Ultimate there,
Poured it and then just throw a
graphical
bunch of new
updates and
characters.
everything.
To
Yeah,
me, because it was such a huge game to me that it's
what
like
can you improve?
you can't restart with a smaller roster
Yeah.
in that game. No one's gonna, unless you make Smash like Power Stone and you turn into like a 3D fighter, you change it up
Uh,
some way. Now I'm not saying they're gonna do that, but
yeah.
they can't release a a newer Smash that has less content. I
Mhm.
think at this point you can't do that.
Yeah.
I don't see it
You just got
being
to
a
do
good
the
idea.
you got to do the Mario Kart formula. Just port over
Yeah, yeah.
what you
So,
have,
so
and that's it.
Ultimate Deluxe, Deluxe Ultimate,
Yeah.
whatever.
New graphics,
Um,
updated music, maybe, some new modes.
Even more characters. You can throw in new characters,
Think about they
but
probably, yeah. But
you
then you know
have
what it is?
to.
But the only reason why I was thinking about that is that if they add new characters, they have to do new balancing for all the other characters. I feel like that's something he was trying to get away from.
Balancing, I don't care. I because
Mhm.
that's for hardcore, which is I know Smash has a huge
It has
hardcore,
a
but like
hardcore fan base.
you want to really you want more people to buy it, so you need new
Mhm.
characters because it's backwards compatible.
That's
Then you
true.
you just play you just play Ultimate,
hmm
and that's the thing too. That's what I'm saying. Like the games have to slap because obviously they're gonna need a new Zelda,
hmm
3D
That's
real
coming.
deal
That's coming.
Zelda.
A new
They're gonna need a
Mario.
new Mario. They're gonna need Metroid Prime 4. I don't know if that they're gonna just be like, hey, let's just put it to Switch 2. Um,
You think they might do I feel like I thought they might do the same thing like Breath of the Wild, where they have the Wii U version and a Switch version.
Switch
But I
2
feel like
version.
because they're so compatible, you know, some there has to be, I guess, a difference between them because
Probably
let's
just
say,
gonna be graphical.
yeah, graphical, yeah. Well, it
It's
depends
gonna
on
be
how. how big?
Like a PS5 to PS4 game. You know, like they're the PS5 version.
Yeah,
Pay
but you know,
five
PS5 and
dollars
PS4
more.
games sometimes like that. It's really hard to tell the difference between them sometimes.
Well, yeah, I think that's gonna be like okay. The Switch version runs at 30 frames per second, and the Switch 2 version runs at 60 frames per second. And that's enough to get a nerd like me would always wants to play the fastest frames and stuff like. I will
They got-
happily do that.
Mhm.
I'm just saying. I think like you got a lot of people that really love the Switch and love their games and stuff. And I don't know how if people are getting bored of the Switch or whatever. Um,
I mean, I think Switch still selling pretty
they
decently.
said the sales are tailing off though. The
Hmm.
sales are starting to tail off. Um, you know, but it's like similar, not similar to the Wii U, but it's like you got to convince people the games. You got to, you know, convince people to say, okay, this is only you can only play this game on Switch too. You
So,
know, that's the issue to me now that they have to
so
battle with.
speaking of that, I know we know we were talking about that a while back. They showed off a small clip of a Mario Kart game, which is probably the potentially new Mario
That
Kart.
is Mario Kart 9, brother.
It's Mario Kart 9. Yeah.
It's got to be. I don't know if they call it that,
You
but
know,
it's got to
I don't know.
be.
I don't know if they had the blurb that said that in game in progress or
No, they
not.
didn't. You know, they didn't formally. We'll find out in April what it
Yeah.
is, but
Mhm.
they formally didn't say.
But of course, it's a Mario Kart game
In
coming
fact,
out.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it real quick.
Yeah. Because
Talk about
sometimes they
something.
could be like a prototype that's not reflective of what they're actually going to put out.
This is way too. I think this is way too done
Hmm.
to be a prototype. I know what you mean,
Yeah.
like such as Mario Kart R, which was
Yeah.
the N64 one. This to me looks. It looks like it's probably done. Not done, but it's very far along.
But being that now the system will be a little bit more powerful, I hope now they get a little bit a couple more games. Like I think they hope they get some. Do you think Call of Duty will come back to the
Yeah,
Switch?
yeah, undoubtedly.
Yeah, that would be a good gift for them. Call of Duty. Again, Nintendo's not about graphics, doesn't have to look as good as their.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm looking at this Mario Kart game, and it looks like it could be done on the first Switch. Obviously,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's not gonna make a difference. I think there's more to come. There might be more to come that they haven't announced yet because I haven't seen all the rumors or speculations about the Switch 2, but I'm hoping there's a couple of more things they have up their sleeves.
one, two, three. I mean, maybe it looks like there might be more than 12 races.
What?
Yeah, it
Whoa.
looked. It looked like I was trying to count how many races there were to see where, the course looks very expansive. Draw distance and stuff looks, it's Yoshi's Desert course or whatever it is.
It'll be groundbreaking. There's gonna be 15 playable racers. New Mario Kart guys.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it does something though with the item balance. I hate that in Mario games.
Yeah, but yeah, man, I'm definitely excited for the Switch too. Interested to see how this journey is going to come along, to see if we'll continue the Switch's success or if we were to predict, I don't believe it'll sell as well as the Switch, but I feel like it'll, be decent enough to carry,
M-
Nintendo.
more to your point, I think it will be the Super Nintendo
Mhm.
to Nintendo. It was be the Switch to the Switch too. I think it'll be like I think it'll by gamers. I think it's gonna be well regarded because it's gonna have some really cool new Nintendo games, and it's gonna be more powerful. Because I think there's a level like I don't think Mario needs to look more realistic, right? You know what I mean?
No,
So
I don't
like
think so. Yeah.
they'll be able to do cooler things with more power to the
Mhm.
system, like a Super Nintendo, but it won't sell as much, but it will be well regarded. Like Super Nintendo is so well regarded. I think
Mhm.
Switch 2 in the same vein, it's gonna be very well regarded. I think I don't it's not gonna be a Wii U. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's not gonna be anything like that. Um, I also think the name and the naming, everything is very particular. I'm kind of shocked they went to
Switch
part
2?
two.
Yeah.
Yeah, like PlayStation did.
Yeah.
PlayStation's
Super
known
Switch was right there,
to
guys. I'm
naming
telling you, Super
convention.
Switch.
Yeah,
You got
I
time to change
mean,
it.
because if you think about it, Xbox naming convention is insane. I don't know like,
No,
what
that's they
Xbox
dropped the ball.
360 one
360, I
series.
understand because competitively they weren't trying to look less powerful than the PS3. So they're like, instead of calling Xbox 2, let's call it 360, which I
I
thought was
get
kind
it.
of genius.
I get it.
Xbox One, I thought that was so dumb.
And it
I
was
thought
dumb. That was a bad
that
system.
was a
Wasn't
bad
good.
that was a bad system, a forgettable system, like almost a stopgap. And let's not even get to the stuff about the TV and stuff like that. Like they wanted
Yeah, they missed the
they
they were
that
not reading the room.
exactly when Netflix was exploding, you want people to be stuck on like broadcast TV or something like that,
Oh
you know?
man.
Yeah, that was bad. Also too, Xbox Series S, Series X, which isn't too bad, but I'm like, I think it's kind of
They shot themselves in the foot with that too, because
yeah.
the series, they talk about a lot of people talk about a reason why some games actually don't come to Xbox is because they have to work on both, and the
Hmm.
Series S is not as strong, so they say
Yeah.
it hampers. Like the guy said, Final Fantasy, he's like, I want Final Fantasy 16 on Xbox as well, but he says I have to get it working on Xbox Series S, and then if you watch people play Final Fantasy 16, it it sometimes it brings a PS5 to slow, and
Hmm.
PS5 is much more powerful than a Series S.
That's why you have to
So
play on PS5 Pro.
what?
That's why you have to play it on the
No,
PS5.
but the fact that
Okay.
it works, right? It works on the it look, and I tried playing Final Fantasy 16 on my Steam Deck, just like
Yeah.
at the lowest possible. It does not even work. It goes 15 frames. It just doesn't work.
Mm.
So to me, it's like you imagine that in any other, that's what crippled them, and that's probably why they said that the next thing Xbox is doing is they're gonna go mini whatever. They
Yeah.
get and third party. We didn't even get into that, but like
Yeah. I think we'll say that for next time. But I feel personally, the spoiler, I think they shot themselves in the foot.
they're probably going the way of Sega.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
mean, financially they can do whatever they want. They have enough money, but they know they're not. They know they're distant third. They know they're not competing anymore.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, that's why they had, it's funny. I think it's kind of like a full circle moment when after like I felt like Xbox took over the reins of the Dreamcast once the Dreamcast went away, and it took a lot of the sensibilities to the Xbox, and now Xbox is kind of like phasing itself out to go third party, and
like
it's
yeah,
like
they're
they're
literally turning
holding
into.
Sega's torch.
They had the world by the throat with the 360.
360 was the system. Like,
And yeah, even I was not a big Xbox person, but I
mhm,
enjoyed the hell out of
yeah.
360.
Mhm.
The internet play, the party system,
They had
and
it at
then
the palm of their hands.
in one stroke they killed it. They did what Sony did, but didn't weren't able to recover.
Yeah.
Sony got big big chested with the
Yes.
PS3.
Hmm.
$600. You know you want it. It
Hmm.
doesn't matter. We're just gonna put it out there. Everyone's gonna buy it. And then people are like, "Nah, I'm gonna get a 360." And the 360 ran most of the games better. They made the
Yeah.
PS3 so hard to develop for. And
Yeah.
then so then Sony was like, "Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah. They had the
Uh,
emotion engine.
yeah. Wait a minute. PS4. There we go. Okay, we're gonna make things simple, better,
Hmm.
humble ourselves, cheaper
We're
price.
sorry.
We're
But
sorry."
I'm not gonna lie
Then
though.
they kind of went back with PS5 a little bit,
Mhm.
but
But
Xbox didn't
mhm.
didn't take that opportunity to say, okay, wait a minute, let's catch up now. Let's make this cheaper. Throw out the S. Let's just make it $400. It's just as powerful. They take a hit there, but they would have been selling way better.
Mhm.
They did that, but they fucked themselves.
You know
Having
something I will say, and I'll say real quick before we wrap
yeah,
up.
go ahead.
Um, Sony did course correct on the PS3 because when they saw like they made a lot of changes to their branding, commercial wise. They worked hard during the PS3 era to kind of like course correct, and I applaud them for that for realizing that because like, as you mentioned, they were full of themselves when
Yeah.
first PS3 first launched. And when they saw the 360 taking over, they're like, guys, we got to change it up. So they did a soft rebranding of the system, designs, everything else.
And at the end of the day, it ended up selling more than 360
Yeah, it was
slightly,
it was
which
better.
is
Yeah,
crazy to me.
yeah,
Because
and
I did not like my PS3 that much. I'm gonna be honest. I played it, but like not as much, nowhere near as much as I played Xbox.
I love my PS3, but the only thing about the PS3 was that it was it was when I had the 60 gig, the
Yeah,
backward
I did. I
compatible,
had a 20 gig backwards compatible,
and then later on when games started being available
but
for
it,
download,
it
you
died.
couldn't.
My 20 gig died. I'll be so sad. I was so sad.
Yeah, I had to start on PS3. My PS3 actually fell from my book bag. I was carrying it one day,
Hmm.
and then my book bag, I guess it was because it was heavy,
Yeah,
and it opened up when I didn't notice, and it fell, hit the
just
ground.
fell out. Jeez, I'm
It,
shocked at a book bag that fit it.
I think oh, actually, it was a suitcase. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it had to be. It was gigantic.
But it fell, and then it still works. The only problem is that it sucks in taking the discs. Like sometimes you
Oh,
have to keep pressing them multiple times, and
I mean that's the draw of your console being backwards compatible. If it can't take the disc well, then
which is why I ended up buying a PS, what is it, PS3 Super
slim.
Slim. Yeah, on eBay for like $120. So I'm like, I'm gonna take it just in case because it's a pain in the butt trying to take it out. But yeah.
Hmm.
But let me not prolong this podcast any longer.
Yeah,
Uh, so yeah, Switch 2, we're excited. I'm excited to see more about it. I think we know there's more. I feel like there's more to come. There has to be.
April. They said
April.
April.
It's coming. It's released in April, right?
No, that's the direct.
Oh, the direct. Okay. Okay, so it's releasing
So
April.
we gotta
So
wait. I'm sure somebody's leaking the shit out of shit. So I'm
yeah,
sure
they've been
we'll
leaking
get
it
some
for a long
updates.
time. Yeah, that's why
But
they were showing a lot of leaks, like and it was pretty accurate. Everything was pretty accurate from the leaks. So,
yeah,
but we'll learn a lot more. I feel like Nintendo has more up its sleeve, but we'll see.
yeah. All right.
All right, guys. So this is the AB image. Oh
Oh my
my God,
god.
I don't
Oh
know
my
what's
god.
going
You
on
didn't do
here.
the correct intro and you can't even do the outro.
I don't know what to do. I'm short circuiting.
We're coming back though. We're coming back more. We're doing
Come
more
back
stuff.
strong,
We're
better than before, and
we're
watch
gonna
out
try to
for.
do like once a month. I think that's a good idea.
I think that's good. Once or twice a month.
No, let's not go crazy. We
All
barely could get once a year out last year. So
right.
let's do
All right. But guys, this is the
let's
8BG cast. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share, comment.
or
Let's
don't like, comment, interact with us. That's what I
yeah.
want. I want
I want
interaction.
interaction. I want comments. Let's talk about the Switch
Tell
too.
us
What
we
do you guys think
stink.
about it?
Tell us what we need to improve.
Or yeah, we talk about the
You know,
Switch.
tell us our chemistry sucks. Tell us we shouldn't do this
We know
anymore.
our
I
chemistry
don't
sucks.
care.
We have no chemistry. We're like strangers here.
No, actually, today was good. I think today was good.
No, no, we
I
always good.
think today was one of the better
I
ones.
love our chemistry. It's so funny.
No, sometimes it's bad. Today, I think I
Give me
think
one
we were
example when it was
actually,
bad.
huh?
One episode when it was
Let me
bad.
just go look through about half the catalog when we get off the podcast and say,
Yeah, go
man,
back
we
through
had a
it.
much better conversation off the podcast than
Mhm.
on. This is one of the ones where I think we actually,
That happened a lot before the beginning. We used to have that a lot. Like the
yeah, well,
talk.
I think
You know
we're,
what? I
this
used
one's
to
good.
go listen to the old podcast when we didn't have video. I feel like it's night and day almost.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I have to recheck some of those out.
Yeah.
All right, bye. Whatever, guys.
Bye,
Bye.
guys. Take care.